Thanks for staying with us. Now, the issue around policing in the Western Cape continues to be a hot debate. The province is defending its deployment of law enforcement advancement plan officers. This follows what the province says is an unwarranted criticism from the Police Minister, Cele. Cape Town Mayor Geordin says he'd like to assure Cele that Cape Town's fight is with criminals and not politicians. He joins me now for more on this. Thank you so much for your time, Mayor. We do appreciate it. Perhaps just tell us exactly what is going on with regards to the comments made by Police Minister and your actual deployment of policing in the province.
Sure. We've deployed about 1,200 extra officers in the city, as you say, called LEAP, Law Enforcement Advancement Plan officers, and they are deployed specifically to the 10 worst crime hotspots. That is Nyanga, Khayelitsha, Harare, which is part of Khayelitsha, Crossroads, Philippi East, Bishop Lavis, and so on, Hanover Park, and so on. And the 10 worst hotspots, and we've recently added 2 others, so we're now up to 12 of the hotspots. And the initial results is that it's working quite well. Crime is coming down in all of those hotspots. And in fact, an extraordinary thing happened in the last crime statistics release. Of the 30 worst hotspots in the whole country, only 10 stations recorded decreases in crime, and 9 of those were in Cape Town. And all of them were LEAP deployment areas. So it shows that the model is starting to work. So we've said, let's extend that by giving all policing powers to all of our law enforcement officers. The minister is fully entitled and empowered to do that. He just doesn't want to do that. But the fact is, it would help tremendously in the fight against crime in Cape Town and elsewhere around the province.
So it seems as though the minister is saying that police are not being deployed to areas where needed most. What is your response to that?
I'm afraid the minister is just not keeping up with the facts. He's misinformed. It's embarrassing. The 12 deployment areas for LEAP are Khayelitsha, Philippi, Crossroads, Nyanga, Delft, Hanover Park, Bishop Lavis, Philippi East, all of the areas which are the 10 worst hotspots in the city. It's not based on my preferences or Premier Alan Windy's preferences. It is based purely on crime stats. We deploy them to the areas which have the worst crime stats. And they are all the areas that I've listed. So I'm afraid he's just not keeping up with the detail.
Okay, so the fact that you say he's not keeping up with the details is quite worrying, because it just seems as though the Western Cape and the Police Minister, Cele, are just not meeting eye to eye. It seems as though there's constant miscommunication or whatever it might be. And this is a worrying picture, because you have people on the ground that basically live in fear. Those areas that you mentioned, Delft, Nyanga, Khayelitsha, those areas are, there's huge problems when it comes to crime. So why can you, together with the Police Minister, not meet eye to eye and just deal with crime?
Well, we are dealing with crime. We are the ones doing something proactive to deal with crime with the power and the resources that we have. We've made what we think is a constructive, positive proposal to say, never mind the 1,200 LEAP officers, but give all of our officers, traffic officers, metro police officers, full policing powers, with powers to investigate crime and pursue criminals and so on, so that we can meaningfully help in a much more powerful and impactful way, help with SAPS's job on the ground. This is an offer to help. And all of the SAPS officers that we work with on the ground are hugely supportive of that. They are hugely supportive of what we are doing already. It is just from a national political management where it seems like it's a little bit of unfortunate territorial control and kind of empire protection that the minister is not prepared to positively consider this proposal.
Geordin, I just want to ask you one last question. It seems as though the Police Minister has accused the Western Cape government of being delinquent when it comes to the Constitution. What is your response to this?
In what way are we being delinquent? I don't follow his argument.
I think it's got to do with the fact that he believes as though the deployment is not fair, and the deployment of these LEAP officers is mostly in the CBD and not in areas where he believes as though there's crime. Look, there seems to be quite a big disagreement with what's actually being done, according to you as the mayor and as the Western Cape government, and what he believes is the deployment of LEAP officers. But I'm just trying to understand why there can just not be a constructive relationship between the two of you, because at the end of the day, crime needs to be fought, and that's a worrying concern if the police minister is not really in agreement with what's happening in the Western Cape when it comes to deployment of policing.
Well, I don't know what his argument is for on constitutionalism. As I've said to you this evening, he's not keeping up with the detail on where that deployment's happening. It's happening precisely in the areas where people are living most in fear of violent crime and where we need additional policing resources the most. And so we have, again, made a constructive proposal to try and help the police with their job on the ground in those areas by giving our officers full policing powers. And that proposal is so far being rebuffed. I don't think, by the way, that it can be rebuffed forever. I think there's very sound legal and constitutional arguments for it, but the minister is so far rebuffing it. But that is a positive, proactive proposal from our side. And I don't think that it's reasonable or rational for him to decline it forever.
I think it's important that we perhaps try and get the response of the police minister with regards to this. But thank you so much for your time this evening and clarifying that for us. That was Cape Town Mayor Geordin Hill Lewis.